Hey guys, and welcome back to Daredevil Reviews. We're doing Season 2, Episode 2, or I'm doing Season 2, Episode 2, Dogs to a Gunfight. First things first, we're actually doing this during the day. I know that never happens, but we're actually doing it, yay. So I apologize for some weird lighting here. I'm using natural lighting, but anywho. So yeah, this one, pretty solid second episode. I mean, this is an episode, this is the kind of sucky part about doing these reviews, is I can't just binge watch this show like everyone else has. By the time I get this episode out, I know pretty much everyone else has already seen pretty much the entire season. I gotta wait until I have enough energy to actually take the time to set up the camera, record my thoughts immediately. I've already seen the episode like twice because of that. But I don't know how much that made sense, but whatever the case may be. So, Dogs to a Gunfight. Pretty good episode. This feels like a lot more setup in this episode. I'm a little avid, so I apologize if not quite as coherent as I ordinarily would be. But anyway, it kind of picks up where the last episode left off, except it's the morning after the last episode, where Foggy realizes through police reports that Daredevil's been shot, so he's scrambling looking at like every rooftop he can find, which I thought was very clever how they did that, to find Daredevil, and who's wounded on top of a rooftop. Foggy takes him back and gives him a big lecture about how, you really shouldn't be doing this, but he's not telling him not to do it necessarily, but he's also making it clear he doesn't really approve of it either. But he's leaving it be for now, and I'm hoping it stays that way. From what people have told me, my fears about Foggy are kind of come true, and it does become really obnoxious and annoying. But I'm gonna wait it out, because I've disagreed with people on these shows before. Maybe that's the case this time. I don't know. I just gotta wait and see where this is going. Meanwhile, Grotto is still working with Karen, and they've got their case been picked up by the DA, by the local DA, whose name I'm blanking on. I apologize, but just this woman. I'm just gonna call her bitchy DA, because that's exactly what she is. She's bitchy DA woman who is clearly just thinks nothing of Foggy and Karen, and wants really nothing to do with them. So she tries to get them out of her hair, but there was actually a pretty good Foggy moment. She's convinced that or more coerced into taking them off of the ride. And they say, okay, we're only giving you this protection, but you gotta give us someone bigger first. We're gonna set this wire on you. We're gonna set you up with these people, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, and this is the part I thought was really, really clever, and I'm really curious to see where this is going, is the fact that because of the bullet wound, the shot that Daredevil took last episode, which apparently was just ultra precision by the Punisher, who I am loving so far, by the way, loving the Punisher in this. He has a great scene I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but this one, he's in his apartment, and because I'm probably just concussion or something like that, not only is he blind, but he also loses a sense of hearing, it becomes hypersensitive for a minute, then he goes completely dead. And I thought that was just a brilliant concept for this character. I think it's just a person who's already lost one of the most the sense that pretty much everyone already depends on the most anyway, to take that and take away the other sense he relies on the most. I thought that's fucking brilliant, and the way he just freaks out, and it's a brilliantly shot scene, just silence, has everybody on the corner, he's screaming because he's trying to hear his own voice, he's banging on the walls and shit. I thought that was very, very clever. And to the point where he just sits there and just stays perfectly still until hopefully he recovers. I thought that was very, very clever. I'm really curious to see where that goes. And it comes back to the end of the episodes. I know that you're not done with it, so we'll see what happens with that. Meanwhile, this is probably my favorite scene in this episode, is, oh, it got dark all of a sudden, holy shit. But the Punisher goes to this local kind of dirty shop and asks for an illegal police radio receiver or whatever the hell it's called. And after some coercing, okay, yeah, he gets it. The guy's a little skeptical. The guy, whoever's playing Punisher, I forget his name, just plays this super serious, intense look on his face. He looks like, I kind of mentioned this last episode, and it's kind of been reconfirmed through this episode, is the fact that he just looks like a guy you do not want to fuck with, because he's just intense as shit. And he just looks like, I'm gonna fuck you up if you piss me off. So as well as I'm loving what they're doing with his character so far. And I know, I've seen the third episode already, so I know kind of where it goes, and it's brilliant there too. But we'll get to that when I get there. Meantime, the shopkeeper, for very good reason, very kind of skeptical working with him. She seems like he's obviously dangerous, but he concedes anyway after he gives him a shit ton of money. But then he makes the big mistake he starts, as Punisher's walking away, having bought what he wanted. The guy's like, "Oh, dude, you want like some? I got some great porn back here. I got this. I got bondage. I got this. I got this." And then he says, "Oh, I also got this kitty porn." Like, and it's like, the girl's barely only 12, and instantly, just Punisher just stops dead in his fucking tracks, and you just know, like, I love shit like that. I'm a sucker for shit like that. Where he's like, no, something bad's gonna go down. And I'm just gonna call him Shane because I don't know the actor's name. Just has this wonderful, intense, very subtle inflections. It kind of just says like, "Oh, you done made a big fucking mistake." And of course, they don't show up. He goes back and kills him. Meanwhile, Karen and Matt have a very nice scene in this episode too, where Karen kind of goes to Daredevil's apartment after he's been missing. He's kind of been missing for a day. He's staying at home recovering, basically under Foggy's orders. And Karen comes by and visits, but says like, "Hey, I'm not an idiot. I know something's going on. I'm not gonna force the issue, but when you're ready to talk about it, I'm here to listen." I thought that was a really nice scene. It kind of shows like, why not just tell Karen? Why not just tell her? I don't get what the point of secrecy is. Everyone else knows. Like, even the costume maker, I forget his name. Gladiator. I'm just going to call him Gladiator, because I know that's who he is in the comics. Even he pretty much knows. He's seen his face. If he just looked up, like the most recent lawyer list, I'm sure he could figure out who it is. Like, Karen's inevitably going to find out, so why not tell him now? Tell her now. I don't know. Maybe that's a minor thing. Maybe they'll get to it later in the season. We'll find out. Meanwhile, this whole thing accumulates with Grotto going to what he thinks is going to be a setup for an old associate of his, but turns out it's a trap set by the DA to try to get the Punisher because they know the Punisher is looking for him. So, through various circumstances, who admittedly I can't remember all of it, Daredevil finds out what's going on, and I will say this show does. Well, I still don't think the storytelling's as good as Jessica Jones was. I will admit, like, this show is very, very creative in how it handles its action scenes. Because the action scenes, especially in the third episode, which we'll get to in the next review of that, they get so very creative and so very kinesthetic and fast and loose, and have these all creative scenarios. So this one has like the Daredevil fighting the Punisher while you have the FBI and shit, like shooting guns at her, or bullets are flying off, and they're in this like war zone, and Daredevil and Punisher are still punching the shit out of each other and trying to avoid bullets at the same time. Very, very clever, very, very entertaining. So all that's well and good. I think and then the episode ends with his Daredevil's hearing problem come up, and Punisher beats Daredevil and captures him with a Foggy freaking out. But yeah, like, really solid episode, good character work. It feels a lot more. It still feels like setup. I do like Foggy more in this episode than I did previously, and I'm hoping that still stays the same. I know people say it gets more annoying this season, but I'm hoping that's not true. That's just an exaggeration. But this one, I feel like he was actually useful. He was actually standing up for himself. He was actually helping Daredevil, like, actually saves his life, instead of just whining and bitching about how, oh, I wish he wouldn't do this, blah, blah, blah. And he still kind of does that, but it's not as bad as it was towards the end of Season 1, because that really got on my nerves, and God, I hope that doesn't work. I hope it doesn't go down that road. But I'm loving Punisher so far. I'm loving where they're going with that. Still no sign of Electro of the Hand yet. I'm assuming that's more probably towards the second half of the season. I don't know. But I'm liking Karen. I'm liking Foggy. I like Matt here. Like, again, everyone just feels a lot more comfortable in this season compared to last season. And I think, well, not as much as the last season. I do feel like a little more of the grittiness is back from the first season. This one, I lost my light there. It's still a lot brighter, still a lot cleaner than the last season. But I feel like this one brings a little bit more of that grit back, because it's going dark in the darker territories with the Punisher, and even I think it's deliberately shifting from the lighter tone of the first episode into more of the darker tone, because shit's going down. We don't quite know where it's going yet. But the DA, let's talk about the DA for a bit, because me and Grant were talking about this the other day, and we're just like, he was kind of complaining about it. I was like, I don't know, at the same time, I feel like, yeah, she's kind of a one-note character so far, but at the same time, like, it's not as, like, I'm okay with one-note characters necessarily if they're only in there for a brief time and they serve whatever purpose they're serving in a way that's believable. This one is clearly meant to be the snobby, I'm better than you DA who just does not take anyone seriously except herself, with her little assistant. Not afraid to screw over anyone kind of people. and she serves her job well. Like she does what they're intending. I don't know, like if her being the DA is gonna be an arc through this season. Again, I'm sure like most people who are watching this, I've probably already watched all the episodes by now. I'm so behind. I'm catching up this week. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot else to say. I have a lot more to say about the next episode because that episode's fantastic. But this one was like it was good setup and it was good, very good final action scene. And I'm really loving the Punisher so far. I think the guy Shane is doing a fantastic job with it. But I honestly think I should just stop talking and go watch the next episode because the next episode is really fucking good. So yeah, hopefully I apologize. I don't have too much to say about this one, but hopefully I have more to say next one. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. Bye.